Gary from Gary's Place. Just wanted to give you a little background on this video, just because it seems a little off. The first part of the video I shot the beginning of February. It's now the beginning of May, and that's when the rest of this video was shot. Pretty much, I've been in college, had a kind of a rough semester, and wasn't really able to set up my printer or get anything really personally that I like to do. I didn't really get to get any of it done for the past few months. So out of school now, getting things going. That's why I'm getting you this content out. But this is a redo. I'm going to call this Unboxing 2.0. My original videos, I didn't have. I decided to start doing the videos after I had already set up my printer and everything. So my first setup videos and first unboxing videos were not technically either one of those. They were just a walkthrough of how to do it. This time I actually ran the video while I put everything together, while I took everything out of the box, when the box first showed up, to show what was inside the box. So hope you like the content. There's anything you guys have questions about, please leave it in the comments below. And if you like what you see, please subscribe. I'm always looking for more subscribers so I can, you know, build this page up a little bit. But we'll see how that goes. Thank you.
So the moment I've been waiting for, my printer showed up. Unfortunately, I'm back in school right now, so I haven't really had a whole lot of time. But just to show you guys what you get in the package, I'm redoing my original unboxing and setup, being that last time I had already unboxed and set it up before I decided to make a video. And I figured this would be a good opportunity to do a proper one, so let's see what we got here. Got our power cable. Let's see, we've got glue stick. I think that's a thermistor. Yep, some zip ties, a cable, and a little memory stick there. Guide. This is that spool holder. I probably won't need that. Nice box of goodies here. You got our snips, got a spatula, some bolts to put the thing together, some spare pieces. Looks like a wrench, and one of those acupuncture needles to clean the nozzle out with. See if we can get this out of the way. And that's how she comes packaged. Two pieces, one on top of the other. See, they actually grease the rods too. I got my glass in there, and oh good, it's the textured one. I was a little worried they were going to send me one with a clear glass. So that's how she looks in the box. Gonna get everything pulled out, put on the table, and then we'll do a quick setup video. Also gonna have to take this apart so I can get my spool holder that I made on there, and I'll show you guys that once I get this thing unpacked. So yep, see you in a minute.
Hello everyone, this is Gary at Gary's Place. Welcome to Gary's Place. So for today, now it's been a while since I've put anything out there. My college semester just finished, so now I'm back to making videos. I've kind of had this as a long awaiting. Haven't had a 3D printer in this spot for some time. Pretty much been sitting on the floor in a box for the past 3 months. I haven't even had a chance to take it out and look it over and all that. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to try to keep everything in frame, just to get through unboxing and getting this thing up here on the table and put together all the I have all the extras that I took off my old one before I sent it back. I don't know if you guys saw the video on that one before, but I sent my 3D printer back because it was starting to make squeaking noises. Sounded like the bearings were starting to go in the rollers. And honestly, just so many things happened with that printer that I just finally said, forget it. I'm sending this one back and getting a brand new one. Did buy the same because I didn't want to spend any more money on it. And of course, I'm trying to do these videos of 3D printing on the cheap. So I guess let's get started. Okay, everyone. So just so you're aware, this is probably going to be a lengthy video. I just gonna do this probably in one go. So I guess let's start with getting everything up on the table here and seeing what we have. So for starters, you get a bag. It's got a glue stick. This is a USB cord to connect to the computer. Looks like we got an extra thermistor in here and some extra zip ties. I had my last one for probably 3-4 months. I never blew the resistor, but or I mean the thermistor. But I guess it's nice to know you have an extra just in case. Alright, so we've got another bag here. Got some snips. This is the one we're going to need for the install. We've got the screws. We've got more screws. This is a little extra parts kit. I shouldn't need this, but I'll keep it over here to the side. This is a new pair of snips. Got our spatula, and I see they've done the same thing they did on the last one. They actually put this handle on through the plastic bag, so the last time I ripped this off, I mean, even when I sent it back, it still had little bits of plastic up in here, just because I don't know what idiot would decide to put that through the bag instead of just putting it on and then putting the bag on it. Either way, not very smart, but it's a cheap piece of crap, so what do you expect? Alright, so we got some Allen keys, got a little wrench, and I won't use this today, obviously, but this is a needle for cleaning out the nozzle. Obviously, shouldn't need that for a little while, at least hopefully. Now, I did put this together the last time. This is the filament spool holder. I think I'm just going to leave this one in the bag this time, as I did design one and print one, and I had it on my old one, and I did end up taking it off. Now, if I do recall correctly, I wanted to redesign this, so you know, maybe I will put together the other one. This piece, I actually designed it so it would go into the extrusion. Unfortunately, you have to unscrew the base and kind of split it apart in order to fit this in there, and it actually does fit very nicely in the spot that it sits in, just below the X-axis motor. So it comes down and it literally sits millimeters away from that. So it was a pretty good design. Took me a little while to get it right, you know, I did put an indentation here for a shaft to come through here with a nut, but I believe I broke it before I got rid of my other printer. So I am gonna have to reprint that piece of it. And I was thinking maybe I might just redesign this so that it's just one piece. I think the printer's big enough to print this and then print the vertical. And then that way I think I won't have to worry so much about it breaking, just because when you put the nut on the end here, it does kind of try to stretch and it pulls apart the print right along the same seam that it was printed on. So, I mean, maybe if I turned it 45 degrees, but I didn't want to, I didn't want to have that much of a cleanup process on it, just because it's got threads and a nut on it. So, we'll see how it goes. For today, though, I'm probably not going to install this. That'll be a different video. All right. Very well packaged. These guys actually do a very good job of that. Unfortunately, my last one was damaged when I got it, but I couldn't get them to fix it, so that was half the reason I sent it back. Let's get this thing out of here and get it up on the table. Kind of nicely put together here. One little chunk. Okay, these Z-rods do have some grease on them, so I would say be mindful of that. The grease has its purpose, and obviously it'd be a mess to clean up, so just be mindful of that as you go along. Now, this is the gantry, this is the base. They're zip tied here together, so we'll make those snips. Okay. Yeah. So, snip. Three on each side. It's nice to see this time I didn't have any spare parts in the bottom. When I did this the first time, one of the little arms came off of the Z-axis switch, and I mean it wasn't a big deal. I just put it back together, but it's nice this time to not see you know, little broken pieces in the bottom of the box. Probably should have. Pardon me. Probably should have thought something of that the last time I did this. Okay, so we're gonna need these two screw kits. Okay. It's been a minute since I've done this, so we got this loose. So we got a power cord. Don't need that just yet. I'll lift this up and get some of this packaging out of the way and get the glass bed out. Okay. And just for safety's sake, I'm just getting this out of the way. It's in a nice fluffy box of styrofoam. Now, the first time I did this, I ended up getting some of the wiring pinched, and then I had to take it back apart. This time I'm going to be very careful. Okay, so let's lean this back down. We got the glass out of the way. And we're going to start with this little packet here. It says M5 by 8 slider. We'll take this out. We got these little clips, well, nuts, I'm sorry. And they go up inside. See if you can see that. So right into the groove of this extrusion, okay? So let's get that in there. This one's going to be a pain. Alright, there we go. Now, the cool thing is they gave you a white little line here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, let me get the light on in here. Helps a little bit. So, I don't know if you can see it, but there is a white line right here where my finger is. Okay, so you slide that nut right up to the white line. And then you take the other nut and do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Now, these nuts also have a little recessed ball in here, kind of like a socket. So that's what gives it a little bit of tension so it can slide. The last ones on the last unit I had were clips, and honestly, I think the clips worked a little better. They had a little more grab power, but these work just the same, so we're good there. Now, gantry goes up. Okay, there are T-brackets here. See that? Okay. These T-brackets are already installed to the lower extrusion, and then there's just a little upper here that you just slide this around. Okay. Just get this bit as far out of the way as I can, and then just get that on either side. And aha, here we go. Wiring's trying to get itself tucked underneath. Right here. We'll have to make sure to keep that out of the way. Alright, then we get our nuts here, or I'm sorry, our bolts, little tiny things. And we'll just get that lined up. And I'll get that started by hand. Okay, there's one. And I'll get this lined up here. See, their white line is not exactly where it needs to be. Close enough though, I guess. Alright, get that started by my fingers there. Oh, look at that. Only took a minute, right? Some stuff caught in the goop up here. Alright, so now's where we're going to need the little Allen wrench guys here. Let's get these out here on the table. Okay. I believe it's this one. Hey, look at that. This is the second to biggest. I don't think they are actually labeled as to what size they are. And I will make another note that these are not exactly the same size as the screws. They are a little sloppy, and it's okay for right now because we don't actually want to tighten these. I just want to get them snug so there's not a lot of movement here. Okay. And the one thing that I did not do when I first started the last time, when I did my other printer. Okay, let's slide this back. I didn't check this pulley here. You can see this belt is nice and loose. Okay. And I can see there's the exact same problem with this one as there was with my old one. The belt is not even on the pulley because it's so far out of alignment. I guess that's just something you can count on them for. So make sure that you set this pulley and you want to align it as straight as you can to the motor on the other side. You may even have to loosen up the motor to move the motor a touch, as there is also a little bit of adjustment there. There's a switch right across from it. Okay, but let's do the best we can here. You know, and the other thing is that they said they were contactless switches. You guys can hear that click. It was definitely a contact switch. Which little false advertisement there, but what can you do, right? Okay, so I'm going to tip this up on the side. There's a couple things we want to do when we're in the bottom here. Get rid of that. Like I said, guys, this was actually very well packaged. I'm very, very happy with the packaging of this. So get this sucker up on its side. You know what? Let me get this up on the other side. Just a second, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I wanted to get this spun around. I didn't want it resting on the switch here. So, let's see what we get here. Now, a couple things we want to do while we're down here. Number one is we got to get the other screw pack. Okay, this is M5 by 25. Okay, there's 4 of these guys in here. I want to start by getting the right size Allen key, which I believe is the largest one. It is. Okay, now we just want to get these started down here. I'm not tightening anything down until the end. If you move the wiring over, okay, you can see that. There are 2 holes right here for these screws, and they go right up into those extrusions above. Okay, so you may have to do a little wiggling of the extrusion to get everything lined up properly. Seems like the threading's a little loose on these too, so I mean, I don't think they did a very good job of tapping it, but if it works, right? Keep finding this little fluff stuff all over it. This looks like spider webbing or a little plastic string. So just snug these down. I don't want to tighten them just yet. I want to get everything set up before we fully tighten them down. Okay. Other 2 screws down here in the bottom on the other side. Push the wiring over. And I gotta say, I think this one, now mind you, I only bought my other one. I only had it for 4 months, 3 months, something like that, before I sent it back. But this one, it seems like the wiring is a little bit better, a little more secure. I don't remember seeing these screw down deals on here on the last setup I had. I think they were just little plastic things that like clip together that didn't actually, I think they were just zip tied down there. So, well, it looks like they did a little bit to redesign these, which is good. I'm always good with redesign. I do see that they did get a new one out that, you know, it has a handle, it has a new spool holder, I mean, the little tweaks. Okay, so just got these snug down. I'm not tightening anything down just yet. Now, when I initially did this the last time, I didn't really think about the bed. The bed is ridiculously loose. Look at that thing bounce around. Okay, totally didn't even go down this road when I originally did mine. So find the right size here. It should be the same as the side T bracket. Okay, and we got a winner here. Okay, so now look at that, guys. They're not even tight. Not even close. Okay, so these are centrics, the inner ones. Okay, so what we want to do is we're going to get the little wrench. Okay, and it's the 10, the larger one. There's a nut back there. Okay, and then you want to just make sure this is loose enough that you can see this. Honestly, I almost want to say I'm going to tighten this because this is like ridiculously loose. I can't even believe that they would send this out like this. Okay, so this is eccentric. Oh, look at that. Tightened right up. Okay, now I throw them back and forth a little bit. Make sure there's not too much tension. Feel that? Okay. Now, one of my goals here is I want to make sure that these are tight, but they're tight on both sides. Okay. So you see, it's nice and tight on this side, but I still got a wiggle on this side because these, look at that. When I spin these wheels, it should be at least trying to grab the extrusion. And this one's not. This one is. Okay. So that means we don't have enough tension on both sides. You want to kind of try to balance out the tension on both sides, otherwise you're not going to get a full grab on either side. But let's loosen this up a little bit. Oh, that's why that was just spinning. There's a small nut on the back side of this. Yep, it's that small side. Okay, so now we got it loose a little bit. Now, one way tightens, one way loosens. I think this is the tighten right here. See that spin? I don't see that one grabs. This one spins. This one spins. That one grabs. Okay, so I want to get just a little more tension on both sides of this. Now there might also be a little wiggle room in these where you can loosen them up and move them, but I don't know that we need to go that far. We just need to make sure that we have no slop in the bed. Bed's got to be nice and tight. It's got to be solid. All right, so tight, tight. That's loose. All right, I won't bore you guys too long with this. I'm gonna do my adjustments over it. All right, guys. So, main thing, just want to make sure there is no looseness, but not too tight. You need to make sure that this glides nice and smooth, okay, but with no slop in it. Okay, that's the important deal. Okay, so now you can see this. I've never done this up on its side, but I think for illustration purposes for you guys, I'm going to go ahead and give this an attempt up on its side. Now you can see this. You can see this belt here is obviously not even on its pulley. Okay, so the adjustment is way the hell out there. And I think it still looks crooked even though it's not even on the pulley. So that's you know 10 times messed up. So let's give this a shot. I'm going to see if I can do this up on its side. Now we want to make sure we've got some decent tension, and I'm going to let you guys know this right now. Right here is the connection of the belt on either side. Okay. They have these belts on backwards. My last one was like this as well. Okay, you should have the rib side to the rib side of the belt so that they kind of like lock into each other. Okay, so when you zip tie them, because that's what this is, they're just put on there and then zip tied. When you zip tie them, it's not just the tension of the zip tie that's holding them, it's also the fact that they're kind of toothed together. So they're kind of locked in there so they won't, so then the only thing you're going to be battling at that point is, a little bit of stretch in the belts, which is no big deal. In this case, you could potentially, I see that they really zip tied the hell out of these things. They put 2 zip ties and they tighten the hell out of them. So I mean, like me personally right now, I'm not really going to worry about it. One day I know I'm going to eventually end up replacing these belts because they're fairly cheap. So at that point I'll take care of that. But if you guys want this done perfect and want it done right, I would snip those and flip the belt around so it's going the proper direction and so that it's tightened in the proper way. So let's give this a shot. So we got our Allen key. Same one we've been using pretty much for everything except for these screws down here. So now there's a little nut on each one of these bolts. So we want to loosen. Okay. So the main thing you want to do is you want to loosen the nut side, and you'll notice that the bolt will come loose. Okay. This is kind of a give and take thing. You got to do a little back and forth to get this right, because you're not only trying to get it straight with the pulley on it, or with the pulley of the motor here. You're also looking for the tip of the pulley on this side, mainly so that when this motor turns on and it pulls this, it doesn't try to shift on the pulley over here. You want to try to make sure that they're perfectly across from each other and that this pulley is perfectly straight. It's kind of a pain. I'm not gonna lie. I did this a few. I've done this a few times. Let's just leave it at that. With that last printer. So, like I said, main thing is you need to make sure that this is straight across. Obviously, you need to make sure that the belt is on the pulley. Okay, so now that we got the belt on the pulley, see how that just slides up and down. So we want to, and see, I think this is why I used to do this while it was outside, because like you can kind of look straight down the tube there. You know what I mean? To get that where it needs to be, and then so now the main thing is see how we got all this slack? I want to get this down to a minimal amount of slack. Put the adjustment almost completely in, so this is just about fully tight. As you can see, we're really loose now. And then I can do the fine tuning. You use the two screws and the two nuts, kind of holding the screw and turning the nut. Well, it's two things. You turn the screws to take the slack out of it, then you turn the nuts to tighten things down, and it's kind of a turn the screw a little bit, turn the nut a little bit, turn the screw a little bit, but your final tightening is going to be on the nut, not on the screw. And then, you're going to want to move the bed back and forth until you're happy with where you're at. So let me pause this, and then I'll be back in just a second, guys. All right, guys, I'm back here. So that takes far more time than it should to get that right. The adjustment's just really not very good, being that you have to get that balance between the tightness of the screws and then the tightness of the nuts, and then you have to make sure that it's tight enough so it doesn't swivel or slide up and down the rail. It's just kind of a big pain in the butt, and it takes a lot of time to get it just right, So I get those all set. So I've got all of these down here just snugged up. Okay, so the way that I do this is I get all four of these lower bolts snugged up, and I put this thing up on its feet. Hey, look at that. This one's not bent. My last one, if I pushed on this corner here, it would teeter a good 1/4 of an inch, and I had to have something underneath the foot there to make it work right. So get the last of this packaging out of here. Okay, so now I get the square out. You guys have seen my setup video, you've seen this part, so I'll just touch on it briefly. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to make sure that this is square. Okay, and you can tell that by whether there is a gap. And actually it looks like alright, this one is actually a lot better than the one that I had before. This is a little off. Okay, so if we get this square, okay, because this T-bracket's already in, if I can square this up here, right? I just need to take my little wrench here and tighten up
the last screw of this T-bracket all the way and get this sucker nice and tight. And I usually check the other screws. It's always a good idea to make sure the factory tighten them all, but they're actually pretty good about that. So that's square. Okay. It looks like I set this off a little bit. Okay. So get this on there. Alright. So that's nice and square. Now we got that tight. Okay. Now, very gently, just because you don't want to move anything, since the T-bracket's the only thing that's holding it now in the location that I want it. Very gently put that down, and we can give these a nice good snug. Get them nice and tight. One. Obviously, you don't really have to do this in any order because there's only two on each side. But, you want to make sure that you get this nice and tight. This is going to be a lot of the stability, and to be quite honest, if I were to have designed this, I probably would have designed it with something better than a T-bracket and a couple of screws at the bottom of the track there. Okay, so very gently stand her back up. I'm liking this unit a lot more than I thought. So now we can go ahead and put this back here, over square, and over here. They're also square. Good, good, good. So, okay. Now, here's another thing that I didn't do initially the last time either, was just to double check the tightness of all of these. See, like this. Oh, I guess you can't see it. 1 second. Let me bring this down, dude. You gotta turn these together in order to get them to come down, otherwise you'll jam it up. But, so if you can see, this thing moves nice and smooth. However, look at all the slop in that. So I'm not going to do that one just yet. Now, I'm going to bring this down to the level of this square. Okay, you guys can see that? Just want to bring it down so it just touches. Okay, so we're just hanging out there. Now we just want to check the distance on both sides to make sure it's the same. It absolutely is not, so bring this side up a little bit. And now remember, you're on an extrusion that's got grooves in it. You want to make sure that you set this up exactly the same. So right now I'm on the center track. Okay, slide it in. Now on this side you're going to have the belt, so just make sure you don't get caught up on the belt. Okay, so now we can see that we're not touching. If I bring this down just a hair, we are just touching there. Okay, and if I go on this side, you got to bring this up just a hair. So there we are, just touching there. And this might take a little back and forth just to make sure you get it right. But see, now we know that these are even. So when these motors turn evenly, which they should, I believe they're controlled by the same motor circuit, if I remember correctly. As these motors turn the same, it will bring the gantry up and down exactly the same. If one side's off, you're always going to be tilted off, and yes, you can compensate with that by leveling the bed properly, but just to keep everything properly squared off and all that. So now, number one, I want to check these wheels. If you turn, see that one spins loose, but this one's nice and tight. Okay, this one's nice and tight. Okay,
Same here. So, oh, okay. So this could use just a slight snugging. All right. We got some more tension there now. Okay. So that's nice and tight. This is very, very loose. So let's get this tightened up. Centric on this one's on the bottom. Okay. And again, you want to make sure that it moves nice and smoothly back and forth, but yet there's no up and down movement. You should feel a little tension on these wheels. When you spin these wheels on the top, it should move. That's how you know there's enough tension there. Now, we'll check the belt here. To be quite honest, that's pretty loose too. So let's give this one a snug as well. It's kind of sad that you got to go through pretty much the whole machine, but hey, you know, that's what you get. Makes you wonder how they supposedly test these things. If nothing's even tight, it probably means to me that they're not tested. Now I use the wrench and I just stick it behind here. Okay, give that some tension. This belt can be nice and tight. It doesn't really need to have a whole lot of slop in it, but I prefer things to be tight. Little tighter. It gets you a better grip. It does put a little more friction between things. It does probably, if you go too far, you are going to wear things, but you know, okay, so our bed has got a sticker on it because it's aluminum, and aluminum comes with a sticker on it, and just to keep it nice and crisp, kind of gives you that new feel because it looks so nice and shiny underneath when you get this thing off. If you can get this thing off. I never had this kind of issue with the last one. It just pulled right off. There we go. Okay, so once you get a good grip there, just keep pulling. It's a little easier if you get a whole side off. I would imagine this is going to stink if you get that heated bed up to temp with this plastic sticker on it. And just slowly work it back and forth until you got it off. They did it here pretty well, to be quite honest. But working it around the edge seems to work the best, and then just work your way to the middle. Voila. That's off. That can go in the junk. Okay, so now we have everything all set up. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and change out my excuse me, change out my vent. Okay, you can see this is my new one. This was the last thing that I printed with my other printer before I got rid of it. I used to have a silver one, which I still have in the junk drawer over there, but that Sunlu silk silver PLA just was garbage. So I reprinted this. I do have another video about these. I will add one thing though. If you look down here, you see the hole. This is right next to that 1020 fan, or I'm sorry, 1015 fan. That's where your LED goes. Okay, so there's an LED. There's an LED underneath here. When you replace it with this one, you take the LED out and it goes right into that hole and it fits very nicely. Doesn't really provide a whole lot of light, but hey, what are you going to do? So now I'm going to go ahead and change that out. I'm going to go ahead and change out the extruder head but I already have a video out on all that stuff, so I'm not going to do that here today. But just so you know, me personally, I will not even waste my time with this piece of junk that's on here now. The last time it was a lot of trial and error and a lot of adjustments, and of course I didn't know that you should have your Cura settings as pretty much saying that this is a um, Creality CR10. I think I'm going to use CR10S this time because I know the S does have the dual. I don't know if that makes any difference, but I'm going to give it a try and see if everything's any better. But pretty much before, just as soon as I switched this over to Creality, I mean, it was the biggest, it made the biggest difference out of any change that I made in the Cura settings and all that. Um, and But initially, my main problem was this extruder head was just, I mean, it's garbage. The spring doesn't work properly in it. The way they have it set up doesn't work well. I mean, it's just a piece of junk. So I've got my, let's see if I got it here. I got my red one. There's most of it. Oh, where's the? Ah, okay, so I'm gonna change it with this red aluminum one. This one was actually set up properly. It's got a bushing and all that. But again, I have another video on that. I may or may not get rid of this tube. This was supposed to be good tubing, but I don't know. I think I got some new blue stuff I could probably put on there, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get that all set up. So sorry for the length of this video, guys. I know this took some time, but getting this properly set up is probably the best thing that you can do in order to get proper prints out of it right off the bat. Again, changing certain pieces. I know earlier in this video I touched on the fact that Sunlu does have a new model of this. Hey, guess what? The new model comes with this already installed in it, which is one of the major changes of the new model. So go figure, right? They even knew that their parts were junk. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all set back up, and hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for stopping at Gary's place. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe. Any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I am always happy to answer any questions. I'm always happy to add any content. If you guys want to see something specific, let me know. I'll see if I can get a video out on it. Again, you know, haven't seen you guys in a while because I've been in school, but you know, school's out, so probably be seeing hopefully weekly content from me, and we'll go from there. So again, thanks for stopping at Gary's place, and you're always welcome.